Star Wars 7x7 episode 2604. So I listened to the Disney investor call last week, so you didn't have to. And today I'll talk about 5 things by commission or omission that related to Star Wars in that call. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So the Disney investor call took place last Thursday, August 12th, and the reason why we haven't talked about it just yet is because, quite honestly, there was nothing major about Star Wars to come out of that call, and so, all the clickbaity headline websites had nothing to light up about. But there were a couple things that are worth talking about, even if briefly, and so we will chat about them here if you don't mind. The first thing has to do with Disney Plus's overall subscriber situation. They're at 116 million subscribers, which is rather remarkable. Like, it's pretty amazing. And they talk about their churn number being low, meaning that they're not losing a lot of subscribers. I don't know about you, but if you signed up like I did at the beginning of Disney Plus, they had a deal where it was like sign up for 3 years for the price of 2, and I actually jumped on that. So we're basically into nearly 2 years of that 3-year offer. There's been no reason for people to churn who signed up for that thing, and I think Verizon was offering the Disney Plus service for free. So they talk about the churn numbers declining, actually, like the average number of people dropping off the service is going down comparatively speaking, and that's great. I don't know how realistic the numbers are yet. Like, I don't think we're really gonna know until we get about October 2022 when those 3-year subscriptions come up. But they said that they're actually aiming toward having something new on the service every single week, and that of course would be across all the brands, so Disney and Pixar and Marvel and Star Wars and National Geographic. So it definitely gives them, a lot of different creative partners to be able to contribute content. And we're not even talking about Fox-related stuff for that matter. So yeah, there's that. And then there, of course, is, the bundling thing, which we'll discuss a little bit with ESPN and Hulu and whatnot. But anyway, so things sound pretty healthy, and it sounds exciting that they're looking at getting into a pace where they know they're releasing something new every week, because, of course, that does suggest that Star Wars is going to be involved in that in a more prolific way, right, compared to what we've had so far. Now, the second thing I want to share is the fact that, unfortunately, Star Wars doesn't seem to be driving the subscriber growth right now. In particular, the things that Bob Chapek, who is the CEO of Disney, name-checked in his presentation were Luca, which is a Pixar movie, and the 2 Marvel series, Loki and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So Bad Batch did not get name-checked as part of this, nor did anything else. It was just those 3 things that apparently were driving their revenue in the quarter that they were ending and reporting on. Now, I should point out that Black Widow was not a part of that quarter, right? Black Widow came out in July, so they were reporting for the quarter ending in June. That's why that wouldn't have been mentioned one way or the other. But the Bad Batch launched in May. It launched during that quarter, so it was a little disappointing not to hear them get name-checked as part of the list of new releases that were helping to drive membership in any significant way. But then again, it is animation, so animation versus live action, yeah, and Luca being theatrical comparatively, well, yeah, so I guess you can kind of see why animation might, not necessarily pop to the top in that regard. One thing Star Wars wise that did get name checked, and this is our third thing, is the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser hotel experience, the story living experience that's going to be coming to Walt Disney World in 2022. It's the spring of 2022 to be specific. So there was just the briefest of mentions of that, no other information about it, just a positioning thing like, yeah, we're doing great and we have this Galactic Starcruiser thing coming next year. And there is a question question and answer period at all of these investor calls and quarterly results reporting things, but it's only coming from Wall Street folks. It's not like the Investor Day situation that we talked about earlier this year where there were actual shareholder questions or anything like that. So yeah, it was coming from Wall Street firms and so forth, and nobody asked any further questions about Starcruiser because I guess it's not really affecting their bottom line just yet, and it's not going to for a couple of quarters at least. So yeah, just the quick little ding, because they've been talking about that recently and they're continuing to talk about that in things like these investor calls and quarterly results reports. The fourth thing I want to share with you, which is another direct mention of a Star Wars thing, is Bob Chapek talked about the stuff that's coming to Disney Plus over the course of the rest of 2021, and he mentioned specifically the Book of Boba Fett. Now, I know that there had been reports, speculations that maybe the Book of Boba Fett was going to be delayed into 2022. Well, apparently that is not the case, and I don't think we thought it was the case necessarily. I thought that was just, it seems odd that there would be overlap between one series and another, particularly Hawkeye and the Book of Boba Fett. But according to Bob Chapek, no, Book of Boba Fett is definitely going to be debuting in 2021. I suppose you could say that, it's not going to debut until December 2021, and most of it'll be 2022. So you could kind of work around that maybe, but yeah, Book of Boba Fett 2021 is definitely a thing. And the last thing, and this one is going to involve Star Wars somehow, but we just don't know how, but I mean, yeah, this has to be a definite thing. Bob Chapek announced that there's going to be a first ever Disney Plus Day. This is going to happen on November 12th, and he described it as an unprecedented company-wide cross-promotional thing where basically, they're going to be dropping a whole bunch of new content, and the purpose behind doing it is to entice more people to invest not just in Disney Plus, but actually their whole bundle situation, which is Disney Plus and Hulu Plus and ESPN Plus. So that presumes that there's going to be sports-related content going onto this thing, and then, Hulu, whatever, new stuff that they're putting out because they have Hulu originals and whatnot too. But it also presumes that we're going to get stuff from Star Wars. And I gotta say, since we were talking about Visions yesterday, and we've talked about it in the past, where because of the Disney Investor Day back in December, they originally announced that there were going to be 10 different short films, presentation things from Visions, and then when they actually announced more about it in July, they said there's only 9. Well, of course, in my head I'm going, maybe the 10th one is going to be a part of this Disney Plus Day. Wouldn't that be exciting? I'm picking on animation specifically for this because that seems like the sort of thing they'd be able to keep a little quieter than they would if it was something that was live action, right? I don't think they'll go so far as to spring Andor on us because we will be right in Book of Boba Fett prime territory for that, and I don't think they would run 2 different Star Wars series at the exact same time. So that seems highly unlikely. I think it's much more likely that we would get something like a 10th episode of Visions or, something else entirely. Maybe an announcement of a new Star Wars animated series and surprise with that or some fun. Or maybe more of the vehicle fly-throughs or the biomes thing or something along those lines. But the fact that this is a full court press from Disney Plus on the platform on November 12th, I think there's every reason to believe that we're going to get some new Star Wars content that's unrelated to anything that we know about, except maybe Visions. That's pretty exciting too. So there you go. That is everything you needed to know from the Disney Investor Quarterly Report call last week. So you didn't have to listen to it. You just had to listen to me for much less of a time to tell you about it. And that is going to do it for this episode of the show. It just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for it, as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2021 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.